Hi friends, it's Rebecca Santal with Rebecca's Creative Adventures, and I thought I would try a different kind of a technique on a layout today. I'm a Creative Memories Independent Advisor from Easley, South Carolina. There's all my information, but it's also all linked below. My Creative Memories website linked to shop. I also have a Facebook business page and a Facebook group, and you're welcome to find me at any of those locations. So I was going through, I save a bunch of layouts on Facebook that I've seen other people do, and this is a layout done by Tracy Schubert, another advisor, and so I thought I wanted to try this layout, but I'm going to try to see how it works if instead of cutting all the waves, if I tear them with my new custom cutting border tools. So we're going to see how that works out. So I've already pulled a bunch of paper here. I just had a random bunch of blues and greens, blues and aquas. So we're probably going to use some of these. I'm thinking that, so this is basically triple layered for the frame. So I think I'm going to use this for the base of my frame. This cardstock on top, this is lunar blue cardstock. That's going to go on top. And then we're going to build, oops, that's just a piece. I guess I should get a full size piece of white since we need to build on it, and this is going to be bright white. Okay, bright white. We're going to build on it. So I was wanting to try to see if I could do a layout without using my 12-inch trimmer at all, but I mean technically I could with these layering, but I do need to gut my background pieces so it's not so thick. So what I mean by gutting is we're just going to have basically a 1/4 inch, maybe a 1/2 inch of the 12-inch sheet showing. So we are going to cut a 10-inch square out of the center of it. If you have the 12-inch trimmer by Creative Memories, this housing is actually 2 inches long. The cut blade starts in the center. So you can line up your housing. Well, we're going to put our paper in. Put your paper in at the 1-inch line because we're cutting 10 inches, so it'll be 1 inch all the way around. And then you just line your housing up where the end, where the end of your trimmer blade is at the end of your paper. So therefore it's going to start cutting at the 1-inch line. And then you're going to take it all the way up to the top, where the top end is at the end of your paper, and it'll stop cutting at the 11-inch. So we're going to do that all the way around. Super easy way to paper save and to get rid of some bulk when you're layering a bunch of pages. So we'll use this actually for some of our strips, and this is our base. Now, since we're doing another layer on top of that with the lunar blue, I want to first cut it down to 11.5. Actually, you know what? I think I want a little bit more. Let's see how much do we want showing? I think I want a 1/2 inch showing So we're going to cut an inch off. Cut 1 inch off one side and 1 inch off the top. Now we have an 11-inch square. Now I want to gut this as well because that is also extra bulk. So we're going to gut it the same way. And we're going to use this inside piece to cut our photo mats. So we'll set that aside for later. And now I only want a 1/4 inch of the lunar blue showing. So we've got a 1/2 inch of the base, a 1/4 inch of the lunar blue. So that's 3/4 inches all the way around. So that means my white piece needs to be 10.5 inches square. And we're not going to gut this one because we're building on it. Oops, I cut that at the 1 inch and it should have been 1.5. Okay, let's get another 1/2 inch off of it. I'm just cutting using since I'm only cutting 1 inch, 1.5 inches, I'm just using the measurements on the small side of my trimmer. But you can certainly pull out your arm here and make sure you're getting it right at 10.5. But, you know, if I've got it lined up at 10.5, obviously it's going to be at the 1.5 here. So that's an easy way to do it when you just have to cut 1 inch or 1.5 inches off. Now, we're going to put away this trimmer because I don't think we're going to need it anymore. And let's start building our base. Actually, we're going to just tape these two pieces together and then set them aside. Get it so we can get them out of our way. This is the repositional tape. Repositionable tape is magic. We just love it so much. It makes it easy. Let's see. Actually, I want to tape on the outer edge of this one. If you get it a little crooked, you can pull it up and reposition it. You just need a little bit. You don't have to go crazy with it. If you put it in a place you don't want it, you can literally just rub it off. Now let's center this on our mat. I have a new camera set up, so it seems like it's a little close to me, so I'm trying to make sure I'm only working mainly on one mat, and I'm trying to make sure it's all in the view. But I'm going to have to try to play around with it to make sure I get the full, both mats in the view when I'm doing a 2-page spread for you guys. So we're going to have about a 1/2 inch showing all the way around. There we go. All right, we're going to set this aside for now so we can cut or tear our strips, and I'm just going to adhere it over here on my layout studio, which if you don't have a layout studio, let's see if I can give you a view of it without totally messing up. It's kind of hard to see. There we go. So I've got a page here. It's magnetic. It's 12 inches grid, and you can just hold the paper that you're working on your layout studio while you're working. And when you get other pieces you want to add to it, you know, you just use the magnets to hold them up there or reposition them or whatever to see what you want. And it keeps it off of your workspace so that you have room to do all your cutting and working and all the things. So that's pretty awesome. And we're actually going to put our white piece on the studio right now to get it out of my way. Okay, now we want a bunch of different sizes of waves and swells and a few punched borders to go, to layer in here. Now, it looks like she used a bunch of solid, but I have several pattern papers, so we're going to try it, and then if it's too busy, we'll throw in some solid cardstock as well. Also, and this was also used, this was also done with the old decorative decorative trimmer that we had, where it had swell and waves. Ugh, I can't talk today. But instead of pulling out that old trimmer, I figured we would try this. Now, I only have one set of these. I don't have the set that actually has the waves. But we've got curve here, so let's see what we can do with curve. And I actually don't think this piece is going to be big enough now because we only cut our white at 10.5. So we'll set this aside, save it for something else. We've got plenty of others here. So let's go with this one. It's got two different kinds of water on both sides. So we're going to just this the custom cutting border guides have kind of a little lip with just a tiny piece of, like, I guess it's like silicone or something, rubber, something like that on the bottom side, where it'll grip on your table. I mean, you can slide it, but it gives you a little bit of a grip there so that you're able to use it with your custom cutting blades. So we are going to just hold it down. We're going to have to make sure paper is not up under that foot. And you don't really have to worry about measurements. You just, rip whatever size you want. Now, I'm digging how that looks. I'm really liking the ripped edge. And we're just going to go down. I'm going to turn it over. Because if I turn it over, like, I don't want the rips to be completely uniform, but I guess they will be. That's fine though, because we're going to alternate them with different papers and such. So that gives us 3 here. Now check that out. That right there is pretty cute. But we're gonna filter a few others in between there. Maybe we should try some cardstock in between there. And maybe we'll do the ripple side. Now, I don't know how it's going to work with cardstock because it's a little bit heavier weight. So we'll just see. How's it going to tear? Not bad. Let's do... I want something that has more of the very, very subtle swell. So I pulled this out. This was from old company of Creative Memories, but there is a swell there. and it should work just as well. Now it's not gonna hook on both sides because the old mats that we used to have were not 13 inches, they were only 12 and a half. So you're still gonna have to like hold it, but I'm gonna feed that through so that I can rip it on the swell side. And that gave me a little bit more rip than I wanted, but here, we're just gonna rip a piece of that off. There. Waves are choppy anyways, aren't they? All right, let's see how many she's got. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers besides the borders thrown in there. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could probably throw that one in there. 6. Let's do a couple more. Oh look, that one's already got a wave to it. That's not bad. So we could just rip the short side of that one. Or the straight side, I meant. There. Just gonna rip the straight side. And this is scrap. All right, we need one more. How about bubbles? Bubbles are good. Let's go back to the, what, curves? We like the curve. There. Now, before we start building, let's cut a couple of borders. I do have this that was already cut. This was the bubble scallop border that came out with the poolside collection last year. I'm going to see how this looks thrown in there. We might use it, we might not. But this is the wave crest chain, and I forgot to double check. I meant to double check before I started this video to see if it's still available. I cannot remember if this one is sold out or not, but it's a wave crest chain, and it just, if you're not familiar with our border maker system, chains are the borders that fall off the paper, and you'll see what I mean when I cut it. This is our housing. You pop it in where the teeth, 2 teeth are showing. The Creative Memories goes, the Creative Memories goes inside of your housing. Pop it into it, clicks. Then you get your tray and you open up the tray from the bottom and flip it over. And now, what color are we going to use? Let's do the cardstock. You put the cardstock into the tray where it's flush against the black part of the tray. Then you close the lid, or the handle, whatever you want to call it. This is magnetic. So it's now going to hold your cardstock, grab it like this, and flip the back underneath. So now you're going to take your housing with your cartridge in it, and you're going to slide it in, and then you're going to feel it catch. And what it's doing is it's catching in these notches. Those teeth are going to catch in the notch. You're going to punch it, slide it down, it'll catch in these notches. So, punch, slide, and there it is. There. And there's our wave because it fell off the paper. There are also border cartridges that are called edge styles, and they stay on the paper, and then you can trim them off where you want to. In fact, this one here, Actually, this one's not a border cartridge maker. It's a border punch, but it's the same concept of where it's an edge and it stays on the paper. Okay, we want 2 of the waves, maybe. Let's see. See if we want to do it in a paper. Did we use this paper? I don't think we used this one. And I like a darker. So let's try it with the darker. Actually, this is just a scrap. I mean, they're both scraps, but we're going to use this one. This was a scrap from, it escapes me now, the name of that summer collection from a couple years ago. I just had a scrap left of it. There we go. Sunrays for Days, that's what it was. They had Fast to Fab paper. Fast to Fab paper is awesome. It's basically decorated paper. And it's like, if you want to get something done fast, get the Fast to Fab paper. Creative Memories recently came out with some. I think one was called Feeling Good. Another one was Natural Beginnings. I think they had a global disposition version of Fast to Fab papers to kind of complement some of our collections we already have. Global Getaway, Natural Disposition. No, Natural Beginnings. Oh my gosh, so many names. Anyways, they came out with Fast to Fab papers to kind of supplement and add to those collections. They also have Fast to Fab for the current birthday collection that I also can't remember the name of. But they're just so easy to just add pictures to because the pages are already decorated. But anyways, enough talking about that. Let's get our 10.5 inch square. Now let's look at our page again. It looks like we're going to start layering. Let's see if I center this on my mat. About 10.5. I feel like we can start at the 5 inches up, 7 inches up, whatever. Because we're going to want to have space to put a 4x6 photo. Oops. 4x6 photo. Yep, that should work. So, and when I say 5 and 7, I mean when you're centered on the mat. If I was all the way down, then you would want to start at like 3 3/4 ish. You know, it's easier for me to think of it centered. Okay, let's just start layering, dry fitting these bubbles and waves and all the things on this page. Oops, I just dropped my example on the floor that I'm vaguely using as my guide. Let's see. You know, I think I don't want to be so uniform, but I like the solid in between the designers. Maybe I should pull in one other color of solid. And I have an idea. just this. I don't remember what this one's called. Put it in the comments if you know. It's a shimmer. It was a limited edition shimmer paper, and it's like a really, really, really light blue, like light aqua or something. I don't even know. So we're gonna rip a wave for that, because I think shimmer would really look cool on this pool page anyways. You know how the water kind of glimmers off, the sun glimmers off the water. I keep dropping my idea. Sorry. I don't know why it keeps falling over the edge of my desk. Okay, let's see. Let's put this in here. Oh yeah, I like that. Let's see. And then, are we going to want to tuck this? Or yeah, it's a little tucked. A little. Where's my other one? Oh, I guess we should tuck the solid one in between. I'm just going to have to start taping it down because it's getting all jumbled up there. Not hating it, except I think I don't like this in here because that color is just, it's not the right kind of blue with all the other colors. Oh, I forgot about the bubbles. We might not even need these because I'm not hating all this right here. All right, we're just going to start taping down. I've got it in order, kind of how it was, and I'm going to flip it over so I know which one comes next on my layer. And don't worry about it hanging off the sides because we're going to trim those off. And that way we can kind of manipulate where we want it. Okay, we're going to use our repo. I'm going to start this one where we want it. Right at the 5 and 7, a little bit above, actually the 5 and 7. I'm not going too high with my tape because I like the edge to kind of be able to, you know, move or give a look of movement, and then also to be able to tuck, if we want to tuck the border in a little bit. And this is why I didn't trim my papers to 10 inches before I started layering them, because you can kind of manipulate how you want it. Like, where do you think it looks the best? All right, let's see. I'm wondering, before I put this one down, I think I'm going to try to cut, I want to cut a wave. Border out of this shimmer paper real quick. Now, I think if we layer the wave there, and then, yep, I like that. I hope have I left enough room for this? I think I have. I'll be cutting it off, but, all right. Let's see. Do I have room to move it up a little? I think I've got room. We're just going to peel it off. And this is why repo tape is perfect. You can just peel the whole chunk off. Let's make sure it's all sticking together. I just want to move it up a little bit. I think I've got enough play to do that. There. Yay for repo tape, right? All right, now we're going to pull out our trimmer again. I lied when I said we were done with it because we want to trim off all this extra stuff. And now we can bring in our page frame. Sorry, I dropped something. We can bring in our frame. And, oh, that is so cute. I think I'm going to use regular tape for this. Just a little bit all the way around to hold it in place. All right, I'm gonna eye it. Have about a 1/4 inch of that lunar blue showing all the way around. Perfect. All right, where's my pictures? All right, I printed off these 2 pictures from my dog's birthday party, Bear. It was his 2nd birthday party, and of course we had a pool party at our friend's house. because what golden retriever doesn't like to swim? So we're going to trim the photos. My photos are actually, I've got a 4-inch and a 4x6. So we're going to see if we can't get slightly bigger photo frames. 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then 4 1/4 square. The photo trimmer is excellent. It has a guillotine blade which cuts it straight down, as opposed to the beveled blade of the 12-inch trimmer. You can use the 12-inch trimmer to cut your photos, but it will dull the blade a lot faster because of the chemicals that are used to treat your photos. So the guillotine blade is the best for trimming your photos. And it's super convenient from trimming your mats and stuff. It's 6 1/2 by 8 inches, but there's also an arm that comes out, so you can trim photos up to 8 by 10, because the arm comes out to 10 1/4, a little bit past 10 1/4. Tape just ran right off the photo. And that went on crooked. Let's try again. Oh my goodness. Keep putting it down crooked. There we go. Let's see. I think that's kind of perfect. So let's just tape those down. Oops. I want to use regular tape. Now, let's see what kind of embellishments I have. I like that dive into the party, because it was a birthday party, and this matches the wave punch, so that's pretty cool. I'll probably pop that up on foam squares. Let's see. So we're going to use repo tape for this, because see how it's got holes in it? If you use repo tape right on there, you don't have the tape chips from the regular tape just showing through. That there, and then get some foam squares for the title. Let's see if we got any stickers that we want to layer in. We'll just do some of the little bubble splashies around. Where do you stop? Just keep putting those little bubbles. I feel like this one needs another splashy thing. And there we go. I mean, how cute is that? I need to journal and put what date it was, but I have to look that up. It was in August. I'm not sure of the exact date. And I'll be doing a complimentary page to tell about it being Bear's birthday party. But, so that was easy. So yeah, what tools do you have that you can use in a different way? You know, tear your paper by using your custom cutting border tools or something like that. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.